You saw some of the historic numbers there. First loss in the Big 12 in 57 games and 4 years for Oklahoma yesterday. And the Sooners have shuffled their lineup a little bit today. Jada Coleman is into the leadoff spot for the first time since March 6th. Tiare Jennings, the fabulous freshman, will hit cleanup after just 5 hits in game 1. And they're going to face Kelly Maxwell, the sophomore left-hander, in the circle, as we are right out of the chute at Cowgirl Stadium. Maxwell having a tremendous season for OSU, a 1.18 ERA, just 41 hits allowed in 89 innings.
Yeah, Maxwell's really had a breakout season for Oklahoma State. They have such a good 1-2 punch, and of course, Kevin, she comes from the left-hand side. She has so much spin and movement. It's going to be a tough matchup for Oklahoma today.
Against Jada Coleman, one of the best freshmen in the country, who takes strike 1. So a little bit of a lineup shuffle for Patty Gasso as Coleman moves into the leadoff spot, and why not with these kinds of numbers? 33 consecutive games on base, batting at .495. On 3-1, Coleman will take one a little bit low, and the Big 12's walk leader is on base for the 34th consecutive game. Oklahoma, the leadoff runner aboard to kick off game 2. And now here is perhaps the best player in this country, certainly the best power hitter, Jocelyn Alo, who has hit 26 home runs. She has homered in more games than she has not. And Alo is swinging at the first pitch down the right field line and just out of the reach of the right fielder, Michaela Richburg, up against the fence.
You know she wanted it. So much at stake with Alo up to bat. She can leave the yard fair. Leads the nation in home runs at any time, so you get her to pop it up. Your right fielder Richburg almost gets there and almost gloves it. Good effort by her trying to secure that out.
Alo, the nation's leader, not just in home runs, but in slugging percentage coming into the weekend. Second most RBIs, a top 10 finalist for USA Softball Player of the Year, and likely the favorite. 1 ball, 1 strike for Alo with Jada Coleman at first. It is an Oklahoma lineup that leads the country in home runs by quite a bit. By about the difference of Alo. They came into the weekend 25 home runs ahead of Wichita State. Alo's got 26 after a home run last night. She was 1 for 2 with 2 walks. There goes Coleman, and the throw to second base is in time as Coleman is cut down by Reagan Wright.
You know these fans are so fired up. Coleman tries to steal, and Wright says, nope, not on my watch. Tries to get herself into scoring position, and that throw and the tag by Petty absolutely on the money. Well done.
Only the 3rd time Coleman has been caught stealing this year. Carly Petty laid down the tag, and now Alo pops one up again down the right field line and out of play. So Oklahoma's high-powered offense takes a dent with a caught stealing of Coleman. Jocelyn Alo has reached base in 41 out of 42 games this year, but now there's nobody but herself to drive in. 2-2. And strike 3 looking. Maxwell gets her on the inside corner, and the nation's home run leader is erased.
She gets the top of the strike zone, which is a big deal for Maxwell because she is a rise ball pitcher right at the letters, inside corner. Not only does it go up, but it kind of breaks into Alo too and gets her looking, which does not happen very often.
That is only her 10th strikeout of the season, Jocelyn Alo, in 43 starts. So 2 out, nobody on, and Kinsey Hansen will bat 3rd for Oklahoma and take ball 1. Yesterday, Hansen batted in the cleanup spot. Grace Lyons has been dropped from 3rd to 5th. Jennings from 1st to 4th. Coleman up from 5th to 1st. So A lot of shuffling for Patty Gasso after the 6-4 loss. Hansen is behind strike one from Maxwell, and we haven't had a chance to talk much about Kelly Maxwell after the leadoff walk and the caught stealing. She faces Hansen, a 15 home run hitter here, but what do you expect out of this sophomore starter?
Really good spin and a rise that she can throw on multiple levels. She can throw it low through the zone. She can expand the zone. And she also, Kevin, has a really good off-speed pitch that has some curveball break to it. So she is going to be more up in the zone because she does throw that rise ball. Not going to work a lot down at the knees or below. But this has been such a good year for Kelly Maxwell, a 1.18 ERA in her sophomore season.
Excellent strikeout to walk numbers for Maxwell. A great 1-2 punch with Carrie Eberly, who threw a complete game yesterday. Maxwell has struck out 2 of the first, both looking. Otto and Hansen, and Kinsey Hansen has struck out for just the second time in 119 at-bats.
Oklahoma, meet Kelly Maxwell. And this off-speed curveball that totally fooled Kinsey Hansen.
Strikeouts in the top of the first for Kelly Maxwell. And now Oklahoma State will bat against Shannon Sale. Let's start with a bunt from Kylie Naomi, who is promptly thrown out at first. Well, this might just be one of those blink and you miss it kind of afternoons. Naomi, the junior shortstop, out on a first pitch bunt.
I was going to say the exact same thing. There's so much intensity. There's so much aggressiveness in this game in every aspect. Naomi trying to lay down that sneaky bunt down the third baseline, trying to find her way on.
So strike one now to Cheyenne Factor. And we will get to meet Shannon Sale, senior right-hander for Oklahoma, who has dominated all season long. One of the nation's leaders in ERA and in hits per 7 innings. And comes in riding a 19-inning scoreless streak over her last 5 games.
Yeah, she comes in with a lot of momentum, a lot of experience. She's a senior. She transferred into this Oklahoma program. .69 ERA and 13 wins for Sale this season.
What's her signature pitch? Is that it?
Yeah, so she's going to work more up in the zone. Similar to Maxwell, she'll throw a rise ball and curve again. Similar to Maxwell, except she throws from the right-hand side, and Maxwell is the lefty. But because she has really good spin, it leads to those Ks.
1-2 for Cheyenne Factor, who fouls it away. Number 2 batter for Oklahoma State. You see the strikeouts, 95 in now 61 innings for Sale. 5 years as an effective starting pitcher in college. Began at FIU, transferred to Oklahoma, and that pitch just a little bit inside, according to Michael Parker, the plate umpire. 2-2 for Factor. Parker has the plate. Troy Kendall at first. Terry Holt, our third base umpire today. 2-2. Factor sends it in the air to right center field. That's carrying. That's off the wall, out of the reach of Coleman. And it is a double for Cheyenne Factor. She homered yesterday, and she picks up the first hit on Saturday afternoon with a double to center.
Yeah, and she does it on an off-speed pitch where she's able to hold back her hands just long enough to stay powerfully behind the ball. Almost gets it out of here. If she would have been a little bit more on time, it would have been able to have that distance. Instead, she'll settle for extra bases and moves herself into scoring position.
And you can look at the jersey top right there and see the wind is really working today. We are not in Stillwater, but the reports we're getting from the folks on site are that the winds are at around 15 miles per hour, and last we heard we're headed out toward left field. There's the flag right now. There are the trees as well. It is a hot day. It is a windy day out toward the fans in left field, and for two teams that are power hitters already, this promises to be a fruitful environment. Now it looks like we have to replace a panel of the wall after Coleman went into it in center field. Your good old outfield wall delay in the bottom of the first. I don't think this is in the definition of bedlam, but what must be done must be done.
No, it really is in the definition of bedlam because it's the unexpected. And who expects for the wall to come tumbling down? By the way, it was a good effort by Coleman to go back on that deep fly ball, trying to communicate with Nicole Mendez, and then a little bit of a bobble there too, but Factor would have been able to get to second base regardless.
So Factor's going to go say hey to her team as the grounds crew works on the wall out in center field. Again, this is a massive, massive game. Oklahoma, #1 team in the country, but they are now in second place in the Big 12 after Oklahoma State's win yesterday. It was an unlikely win historically, even though Oklahoma State has one of its best teams this year. They had not beaten Oklahoma since April 27th, 2011, when the Fightin' Mariah Gerhardts took it to the Sooners. 10 years in a row that Oklahoma has dominated this series, but this is a new day in Stillwater and a new kind of program that Kenny Gajewski has built as his team seeks its first conference championship in 26 years.
Yeah, because to your point, Kevin, not only has Oklahoma dominated this matchup, this rivalry, they've dominated the Big 12. They're seeking out their 9th straight Big 12 title. And meanwhile, Oklahoma State has not won a conference title since 1995. And crazy to think, Kevin, that they're, what, 1 win away from doing it?
Yep. Today or tomorrow, Oklahoma now has to sweep the rest of the series as Kenny Gajewski looks on. So back at it, Allison Febri with the first pitch, swing and miss from Shannon Sale. And our thanks to the grounds crew folks on site for their reintegration of the outfield panel, which hopefully will stand up. What an important player Allison Febri has been. What an important person for Kenny Gajewski. Began her career at Georgia, the Peachtree City native. Her second year at Oklahoma State. This is the 233rd start of Febri's career in college, and she's been absolutely brilliant this year. 13 home runs, an OPS of nearly 1,200. Has reached base in 42 out of 46 games. And she's 1 ball away from reaching here. Good stop by Lindsey Elam behind the plate, but the count goes to 3-1.
Yeah, really good reaction by Elam back behind the plate. That pitch was not supposed to even be close to that. A 2-1 pitch. Sale wanting to be closer to the zone, and that one way off mark.
Did she go? Is the question. No is the answer from Terry Holt. So Febri works a walk, her 16th walk of the year. And Oklahoma State puts 2 on with 1 out in the first.
Kevin, there have been a couple of close pitches in this inning that Shannon Sale has not gotten the call. That last one to Febri, but one earlier on to a right-handed hitter. He's trying to figure out the strike zone and see what's going to work.
And she'll have to figure it out against Haley Busby. Had the big hit yesterday. Go-ahead 2-run homer in the third that knocked G. Juarez out of the game. 15 for Busby, who is on pace to shatter the school record for slugging percentage. Her number currently at .844. Busby swings away. A big cut and a foul ball for strike 1. This is an Oklahoma State roster that Kenny Gajewski has rebuilt. He has loaded it with transfers. Busby, another one of them, began her career at the University of Virginia. That's on the ground to third. Johns gets 1 there and 2 across the way. Jada Johns, the South Carolina transfer, turns 2 for Oklahoma. And Shannon Sale is out of a scoreless first.
Oklahoma has one of the best defenses in the entire country. Oftentimes it gets overshadowed by their offense, but their defense is so steady, so sharp. 2 outs, 1 pitch.
Oklahoma State, 2 of the top 7 teams in the country, and this series features 3 of the top 10 players in the country. Finalists for USA Softball Player of the Year. Eberly the win yesterday, Alo homered yesterday, and this is Tiare Jennings in a cleanup spot today as she swings through strike 1 from Kelly Maxwell. There is likely no better freshman in the country, and the only competition might be her teammate in Jada Coleman. The numbers for Jennings out of this world good in her first year for Oklahoma. Started her collegiate campaign, or her second collegiate year at least, after a true freshman shortened year last year with a 3 home run game. 22 on the year and an OPS of over 1,600 for the USA Softball Player of the Year finalist. And Maxwell just totally lost control there on ball 1.
It happens, and that's the type of pitch where you're happy that you're at your home field because your fans have your back and they're not going to give you a hard time. Looks like it's trying to be an off-speed pitch, kind of turning it over across her body, and just ended up coming a little bit too far behind her. It happens. Thankfully,
it happened on an 0-2 count with nobody on base. No harm done,
Good
other
point.
than ball 1. Tiare Jennings, we talked to Patty Gasso about her. Asked her, when was the first time you saw her? She said in travel ball, she was skinny, skinny, skinny. And Mike Stith, her coach, said, she's going to be an All-American. I said, she's so thin, though. He said, don't worry. And Patty did not. Not a lot of worrying with these numbers this year. Jennings socks it in the air to left field. This is playable for Alexander. Chelsea Alexander puts it away in front of a riled-up Cowgirl faithful.
Again, that is when you love the fact that you're playing at your home field, to where all of those fans behind you in left field are pulling for you. They're not rooting against you. They're not trying to distract you. They want you to put that ball in your glove and secure the out.
That is the corral area out in left field, which has been going crazy over the last 24 hours. Grace Lyons down to the 5 spot today to take ball 1. Lyons, the junior, has started all 130 games of her career at shortstop for Oklahoma. Strike 1 swinging. A lot of swings and misses in the early going for Maxwell. Lyons at .448, 12 home runs. Again, on any team, this is like Conference Player of the Year by far stuff. On Oklahoma, she's the number 5 hitter. 545 on base, 20 walks, only 5 strikeouts. It is an Oklahoma team that, I know they lost yesterday, but has still shattered norms and records across the country. Their average game, they win by 10 runs.
It was a lot of fun talking to Grace Lyons before this series, and you could just tell she's a student of the game. Wouldn't surprise me in the least bit if she ended up going on to be a hitting coach, be a softball coach in some aspect in her life, because you can just tell she loves it. She loves the offensive part of the game, the defensive part of the game. And Kevin, you can already tell this is a much different looking strike zone than in game 1. Game 1, when I went back and watched that game, it seemed like it was a pretty pitcher friendly strike zone. This one is a little bit tighter. That was a little bit off the plate. Good call, I think, by Blue. You can tell. And catch the corner, but a pitch that if you're Maxwell, you want. If you were an Oklahoma State fan in the crowd, you're not wearing blue, you're wearing orange, but you think that it should be a strike. It's going to be a tighter zone, I think, than last night.
Michael Parker behind the plate today. And again, we're slightly off the center, but it looks like the inside corner has been a little bit more forgiving to pitchers, at least to right-handers. 3-2 again. Lyons swings and misses. Maxwell dominant with 3 strikeouts out of the last 4 batters faced.
Yeah, she's had 8 swings from these Oklahoma hitters and 3 swings and misses, including this rise ball that's outside, moving up a little bit and moving away. Again, she will have different variations of that rise ball. It is her go-to pitch. She loves to spin that thing through the zone and out of the zone.
6th hitter is Lindsey Elam, who started to swing but held up. Elam, a 2-year captain for the Sooners. Patty Gasso says, "I could not ask for a better example or role model on how to handle adversity." Has been in and out of the lineup. And again, we're speaking comparatively here. 344 average, 7 home runs, slugging .622. Those numbers are good enough to get you in and out of this lineup. Most lineups, again, you're hitting in the top 4, but that's how loaded this team is. And it's a testament to this Oklahoma team that you could take their 10 through 15th best hitters and put them in the middle of most lineups. This is a team so deep that it would be easy for the players on the bench, you'd think, to let their egos run amok, but everyone has played their part this year for the Sooners' wrecking machine. Again, these are numbers that would jump out to you in March. We're in May. We're now in the 2nd week of May, and Oklahoma's still getting on base more than they do not. They haven't today, though, and 2-2 is hit in the air by Elam to left center. Alexander will make it a 1-2-3 second for Kelly Maxwell. No hits allowed through 2 for the Cowgirl sophomore. Our 7 Innings podcast available wherever you get your podcasts. It was great to hear from Kenny Gajewski on the 7 Innings podcast this week. Oklahoma State head coach who has finally slayed the dragon that is the Sooners, at least for one game. He wants a series win. Sydney Pennington leads off in the bottom of the 2nd. Takes a ball from Shannon Sale. Mayhem begins. Emphasis on the M-A-Y. And your Twitter questions answered. Follow us on Twitter as well, at 7 Innings Podcast. You can tweet your questions to Amanda for the weekly mailbag. And it will be, I'm sure, a very crowded mailbag come post-season play, which is starting next week with conference tournament play. Cannot wait.
Are you still mad that I stole your stat?
I had actually forgotten about it until you just brought it up, but now I'll be mad again. Yes, Amanda stole my stat for her stat of the week without attribution. But that's okay. Now a national audience knows that you're just a freeloader. And that's really what we wanted out of this, isn't it? 2-2 for Pennington, and Sale goes up high for her first strikeout of the afternoon.
It's a nice rise ball that starts as a strike and one that almost looks like it's going to end as a strike too. So Pennington is forced to swing at it. She doesn't expand the zone too much, Sale does, but just enough with good spin and movement to get Pennington to swing underneath it.
Here's Michaela Richburg with one away, and Richburg sends the first pitch foul. Oklahoma native, there are quite a few of those on this OSU team for whom Bedlam is an intensely personal game, intensely personal matchup. Some grad transfers on this team as well. It's a nice mix of players for Kenny Gajewski, some of whom are well aware of the history of this rivalry, and some of whom are in the state of Oklahoma for just the first time in their lives. Well, a rise ball got up, gets Richburg as Sale strikes out back-to-back here in the 2nd.
Yeah, she's coming out in this 2nd inning just a lot more comfortable and mixing up her pitches. It's a good location for this changeup. Starts at the knees and then just falls off the table. Look at that downward movement. It's like an off-speed drop ball where she throws her hand on top of that ball to be able to get it to break down.
Back-to-back Ks, and here is Reagan Wright. The numbers not great on Wright overall this season, but her second half of the year has been very, very good after a slow start. Hit a home run yesterday for Oklahoma State, and they were down early in the game, her third of the season. Started the year just 2 for 36 Wright. She is 13 for 40. It's a .325 average with 5 walks since.
You know, the cool part about this Bedlam matchup in particular is that both of these teams are having the best teams that they've had in years, which says a lot for Oklahoma, right? Because they've been competing for national championships a lot in Oklahoma City, but they're having their best team in years, and then they've been always stacked. But also Oklahoma State is the best team, the most talent that Kenny Gajewski has had since he's been a part of this program and at the top.
6th year in Stillwater. He thinks this is maybe as talented a team as Oklahoma State has ever had. And Kenny Gajewski went to Oklahoma, has long lived in the state, so he knows a little something about the history of that program. On 3-1, Wright takes ball 4, and it's the second walk for the Cowgirls today. We had an awesome conversation with Kenny Gajewski this week. He said, look, I'm 0-14 against Oklahoma. I've got to try something different. So I wanted to talk to my team a little bit more about Bedlam and what it means to the people around here. And the message I gave to my kids is that they have something that you want. They're not going to hand it over. So you're going to have to take it, and they're going to try to grab it back. And you're going to have to take it back. And his team was down 2-0 yesterday. Reagan Wright hits a home run. Oklahoma gets another 2. And then the Cowboys took the lead right back with 4 runs in the third and never relinquished it. Carly Petty with a ground ball foul.
Yeah, it was a prime example of how he was explaining that. You know that Oklahoma is going to throw their punches, but we have to be able to punch right back. And I think an important aspect of the conversations that he's been having with his team is knowing, hey guys, we don't have to be perfect to beat them. That might be a misconception when you go in to play Oklahoma because they are so dominant in all aspects of the game, but you really don't have to be perfect to beat them.
Oh, that pitch hit Petty in the head. Sale lost control off the batting helmet. Her 8th hit batter of the year, and Oklahoma State has a pair on.
A couple of strikeouts and now a couple of free passes by Shannon Sale with 2 outs. Just totally holds on to it. That is actually a drop ball. Looked like it had over-the-top rotation, but clearly gets away from her, trying to force it, and hits Petty on the head. And thankfully, she's smiling about it, maybe even laughing too.
Well, the pressure has been applied early. First 2 innings, Oklahoma State has had runners at first and second in each inning. As bizarre as it is, Oklahoma State, Amanda, scored 6 runs yesterday. They did not have a hit with a runner in scoring position because they did not have an at-bat with a runner in scoring position. 2 solo homers, 2 two-run homers with a runner at first. So these first 2 innings are their first at-bats in the series with runners in scoring position. Just a game with 10 runs, and neither team had a hit with a runner in scoring position. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
The unexpected will get you every time in this matchup.
Well, the batter here is Chelsea Alexander. And in the number 9 spot, Alexander leads the team in average at .425 and on base in .505. John's expecting the bunt or the slap in from third. There's the bunt, and it is popped up foul. Strike 3. So Sale works around a walk and a hit batter and strikes out 3 in the inning. Board that was just created, but great broadcast options for you all over the place. as the Phillies, who won big yesterday, will look to take that series. Janet Johns swings through strike one here in the third inning. Oklahoma, #1 in the country. Oklahoma State ranked 7th. If Oklahoma State wins, they win the Big 12 and win a conference championship for the first time in 26 years. If Oklahoma wins, it will be a winner-take-all game for the conference title tomorrow. And we will have that game for you tomorrow at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, over on ESPNU. There's Patty Gasso, the iconic Oklahoma coach. 1,320 wins in her 27 years, 8th most in Division I history. She's not used to being anywhere but the driver's seat in the Big 12. 8 consecutive Big 12 regular season championships for Oklahoma, but they are up against it here on the road with a 1-2 count on Janet Johns.
You can tell that Kelly Maxwell is really using that outside part of the plate to these right-handed hitters. Just so much dominance by Oklahoma in the Big 12. They recruit well, they develop them, produce all those All-Americans. And you know what, Kevin, too, when you think of Oklahoma, you think of a team that not only just does what they need to do in the regular season, but they have that quote-unquote championship mindset that Patty Gasso talks about that gets these players to perform in the big moments, under the lights, and get them to be everything inside of them that they're capable of being as an athlete out here on the softball field.
4 straight years, 8 of the last 9, Oklahoma has made it to the Women's College World Series. Whether they are the #1 overall seed or not, and that will depend on this weekend and next, they're certainly going to be a heavy favorite to get back to Oklahoma City this year. 2-2 for Johns from Maxwell leading off the third. And the count runs full on the former South Carolina Gamecock, Janet Johns, who has been Oklahoma's perhaps hottest bat over the last 2 weeks. 7 straight games on base, 6 for 13, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 6 walks in that span. Johns elevates one foul, and we'll see another 3-2. Seven, 8, 9. Johns, Mackenzie Donahue, Nicole Mendez here in the third for Oklahoma. 8th pitch for Maxwell, and it's in the dirt. A leadoff walk for Janet Johns begets a potential Oklahoma rally in the third.
You talked about how well that Janet Johns has been doing last several games, and when we talked to Coach Gasso, she said, it's really been 7, 8, 9 that's been leading our team the past couple of weeks, and here they find themselves scoreless game, top of the third, and Janet Johns is a leadoff hitter in the 7 hole with 7, 8, 9 coming up, finds a way to get herself on, good at bat.
That will bump her on base percentage up from .496, Johns, and bring Mackenzie Donahue to the plate. Sophomore from Mustang, Oklahoma. Only Mackenzie's 17th start. She has played in all 43 games. A part-time starter who's 29 for 61, hitting .475. Squares to bunt, and that pitch is up and away, ball 2.
Yeah, Coach Gasso called her the little spark plug on this team, and she's able to get some big walks for them, but can also hit the long ball too. 6 home runs in that 8th spot. Has some punch, has some power. I'd say that about everybody on this Oklahoma team.
No kidding. Easier to list the players that don't have some punch or power, even in the 8 and 9 spots here. Donahue's got 6 home runs. Mendez, the on-deck hitter, has 5. We've seen her hit some huge home runs in the championship series at the World Series before. And now Kelly Maxwell has lost her command a little bit. even ball to strike ratio here in the third inning.
You know, even Coach Gasso told us, Kevin, that the hitters in the 7, 8, 9 part of the lineup for Oklahoma were having that pressure, putting that pressure on themselves to hit the long ball like the rest of their teammates higher up in the lineup. And she said, you don't have to do that down here. All I want you to do is find a way to get on base, find a way to get yourself on to turn over the order for us.
On 3-1, Donahue will find her way on base. Back-to-back walks here in the third inning for Oklahoma. The 7 and 8 hitters, Johns and Donahue, get the job done. And here is Nicole Mendes.
Doing a good job of working the count, making Maxwell work. This Oklahoma team coming into this game took 178 walks compared to just 88 strikeouts on the season.
Maxwell only 24 walks, meanwhile, in 89 innings for OSU, and she's already issued 3. 2 on, nobody out, and Nicole Mendes takes one low.
And that's that example of what seems like, just watching and comparing to other strike zones, a little bit tighter of a strike zone. Looks like that was at the knees, caught the corner. Maxwell didn't get the call, and I think that especially the second time through the order, you might see these hitters be a little bit more patient, understanding what the umpire strike zone is and what he's given them.
Mendes on the ground to second, and Petty will get 1 out there on the force at second. So Johns moves to third with 1 out. Mendes is on at first, and Oklahoma has the potential first run just 1 base away.
Nicole Mendes, who has that home run power you mentioned, runs through the box and more of a slap, and it gives her a bit of a head start to get down to first base, where Petty is unable to turn that double play. She was about a step and a half ahead of where she would be if she kept her feet still.
So to the top of the lineup, and the new leadoff hitter, Jada Coleman, her first game in the leadoff spot today since March the 6th, 2 months and 2 days ago. And it's, on one hand, in one sense, seemingly a little crazy. Oklahoma's 40-2. You go, why is Patty Gasso changing the lineup for a 40-2 team? But on the other hand, she talked to us about this. Her approach is that this weekend is a super regional on the road. And in a super regional on the road, you lose game 1, it's do or die. You have to make adjustments immediately. There is no tomorrow if you lose. So this is a way for her to challenge her team and mix things up and make sure they don't get complacent. And the wall is off. It's off again. It's been dislodged again, perhaps because of the wind. So maybe we can get some really strong duct tape or some super glue and fix this thing up. Maybe we'll just play without a wall. Who needs one? Walls are so 2020. Come on.
Do an eye test, and that's not to...
This is going to help the eye test. A base hit from Coleman into right field, and Johns will score the first run of the game. 1-0 Sooners as the new leadoff hitter, Jada Coleman, delivers.
Coleman getting a pitch that's trying to move its way outside, but she's able to get her barrel and her posture over to that pitch and take it to the other side with some power to drive it to the right side and score the first run of this game, where Janet Johns, remember, had took the walk earlier on this inning to start it off.
So Coleman has reached base twice, and here is Jocelyn Alo, the home run leader in the country. Alo came up yesterday in the 7th inning representing the tying run, and OSU did not intentionally walk her, but they might as well have, the way they pitched around her. You've seen teams start to do that more. There really is no place to put Alo now. You'd load the bases with 1 out for Kinsey Hansen if you put her on, so Maxwell's going to have to go after her.
seen stranger things or stranger intentional walks happen this year, like whenever the bases were loaded and NC State intentionally walked Valerie Cagle and a run came in. So intentional walk and then even the unintentional intentional walk has been used a lot this year. You've seen it. A lot of respect for these hitters that have been putting up the numbers.
'80 home runs in the career of Jocelyn Alo. Second in Oklahoma history, behind Lauren Chamberlain, who has the all-time Division I record. Alo in the air to right field, well struck. This will get to the wall. Mendez is coming in to score. Coleman to third base is going to hold there. The ball was hit so hard she couldn't come home. An absolutely scorched double from Alo, and it's 2-0 Oklahoma.
Maxwell's really been using the outside corner to these right-handed hitters, and in a 2-1 count, hitting with leverage, Alo looks for that side of the plate, and she's really able to barrel it up. Before this pitch, she took a deep breath. You could see it. She was in her stance, took that deep breath, and she knew she was going to get a pitch to hit, and she made the absolute most of it to extend Oklahoma's lead.
RBI number 71 on the year in her 43rd game. And the pressure kept on for Kinsey Hansen, who flicks her wrist and fouls away a pitch that was well off the plate, strike one. Oklahoma swung and missed through 6 of their first 11 swings. They've made contact on the last 10. They seem to have figured out Kelly Maxwell here in the third inning. 2 hits, 2 walks, and 5 batters. Hansen pops it up. First base side and caught by Febri, who nearly overran it.
Yeah,
little Stretch Armstrong work.
Yeah, the wind is just howling. That was a high foul ball and also a little bit of the sun too that was in her way, so she's trying to shade it with her glove. You can see it and stick with it. She kept her feet moving, but as that first baseman's mitt, it's a little bit longer. It's used to scoop balls and stretch, and it came and play there.
Doesn't seem like a fun day to be underneath a softball, the way the wind is howling out to left. With a huge pop out for Maxwell, though. Second and third, 1 out, eliminates the possibility of a productive out. And now Tiare Jennings standing in the way of Maxwell escaping this jam with only 2 across.
And it's just the fact in this inning that Maxwell's not helped herself out. She went from just really being around the zone, moving her pitches through the zone, to a lot of these pitches that you've seen in this inning haven't even really been close, to where Oklahoma hasn't even had to have that second thought in their head with that deceptiveness of if they want to swing at it or not. It's a hard take for them. That's a good looking pitch. See, that ended up as a ball, but a hitter thinks it's going to be a strike out of her hand. That's a better pitch. So even though it still ended up as a ball, if she wouldn't have swung at it, it's such a great adjustment from the pitch before.
One, 2. The number that is under the scoreboard right now is not a typo, we promise. That is really a 569 average for Jennings with runners in scoring position. Coming into the game, it was Jennings tied with Alo for the national RBI lead, 70 apiece. Alo has an RBI in this inning on the double to score Mendez. Coleman a single to score Jana Johns. And it's Oklahoma with 2 and looking for more. Jennings, the top 10 Player of the Year finalist, just gets a piece and stays alive, 2 and 2.
Yeah, spoiled that off-speed pitch, and I just kind of felt like it was coming, that Maxwell was going to mix it in there with the at-bat that Jennings been having, but barely just gets a little piece of it to extend her at bat.
Would you throw it again here?
do it again and maybe have it move just a little bit lower. That one was a little bit flat, didn't have as much down movement to it. That's a good pitch to hit. I like it.
I don't know if she intended to throw it where you suggested, but I can't imagine Maxwell intended it to be there. That was pretty much center cut for Jennings. Been a 30-pitch inning for Maxwell after 31 in the first 2 combined. Another 2-2. That one's lower, but Jennings lays off. And TRA has worked the count full. 10 RBIs in her last 8 games. 70 on the year. A 3-2 for the freshman TRA Jennings. And a little ground ball left side. The shortstop Naomi throws out Jennings. And Maxwell strands a pair. Every game but one this year. Kenny Gajewski said, I remember where I was when Kylie called to tell me she was coming. I was driving in Napa on a trip with friends. My heart sank because she called and I thought, she's going to tell me she's deciding to go somewhere else. And she said to him, Coach, I want to come to Oklahoma State. And he pulled over the car and started screaming. He said, I knew she was the first piece of the foundation that we had to build here.
Well, and it's not just defensive, he does offensively too. He said she just plays at a different speed. You can tell how quick she is on defense. She gets rid of the ball so fast. She has such good range. Just so many athletic qualities about Kylie Naomi, and he's able to be hard on her too. Yesterday she had a home run. That was a big one. She could just fire up this offense. So calm, her hands so quiet, and just being able to get quickly to that inside pitch. That's that, being able to play at a different speed. Those quick hands, those quick feet, being able to attack pitches on defense and also up at the plate.
3-2 now from Shannon Sale. I'll say this, her hands very quiet until she hit the ball, and then her hands made a whole lot of noise. Second on the team in on-base percentage at .461. Naomi looking to start this inning right. And she'll foul away a 3-2 rise. Cowgirls won 6-4 in the opener yesterday. Their first win in 10 years against Oklahoma. Snapped a 24-game win streak in the Bedlam series for the Sooners. 3-2. That's popped up into center, and it will be caught by a diving Coleman. Jada Coleman looked like she surprised herself with that ball hanging up in the wind. A brilliant play by the freshman center fielder.
Not going to get beat on much back behind you with this hard wind blowing in. So you know if you're Coleman, took a couple of steps back and then beelined it forward, understanding that ball was just going to die in front of her. Great effort by Jada Coleman, and Shannon Sale is loving it, showing the emotion. You're seeing it on both sides in this Bedlam matchup.
Strike one into Cheyenne Factor. Look, we knew Oklahoma was going to be fired up today after only a second loss of the year. This is the kind of Sooners team you don't want to make angry. Factor pops it up. Again, everybody's fighting the wind, and this one a little more routine for the second baseman Jennings, out number 2.
Saw 6 home runs in yesterday's game. It just seems like it's going to be hard to hit one out of here today with how hard this wind is just gusting. And we have 2 rise ball pitchers in the circle too, with Sale and Maxwell, so you know that they're loving that wind. That's actually just like a 10th defender out there for them when a ball gets in the air.
Allison Febri just saw there the wind has gone from 15 miles per hour at first pitch to 22. It seemed like pregame it might be an ideal environment for hitters blowing straight out. Again, we're not there, but it feels like the wind's a little more gusty now and not necessarily straight out toward the wall. And the fly balls we've seen would make you believe that as well. Yeah, I mean, you got to really tie down the cowboy in right center field. He's going for a ride. Like a leash kid. Fabry pops it up. Is this going to be an adventure? It will not for Grace Lyons. 3 air outs in the inning. And a shutdown third for Shannon Sale after her offense picked her up. Her defense does from Jada Coleman here in the bottom 3.
When the ball's in the air in the outfield, you have a chance to make that diving play today. You got to stick with it. Jada Coleman lays out. Top 10, maybe? Thoughts?
I'm in. On the heels of a 2-run Sooner third. Amazing story, Grace Lyons, who has started all 130 games of her career at Oklahoma, has played and lived with few restrictions in her life. There is a young Grace Lyons at the plate, modeling the stance we see now. We had a chance to speak with Grace Lyons a couple of days ago, Amanda, and she is an amazing young woman. Had a pacemaker inserted because of a heart problem when she was just 5 years old.
Yeah, she was born with a 3rd-degree heart block, and it was actually put in whenever she was 5 years old. Had surgery when she was 10, and then also her senior year of high school. And she doesn't think about it too often, or it doesn't kick in all too often, but Oklahoma in the fall will do a strength and conditioning triathlon where their athletes are just pushing themselves. It's like a mini triathlon, not a real thing. And Kevin, her heartbeat got up to 200. That was tricky. Got up to 200, and it just cut it completely in half down to 90 or 100 beats per minute. So she said it went from just feeling like something really, really, really strenuous to then just feeling like she was completely at rest. But a Division I athlete playing with a pacemaker, and a big part of her story that she's had her entire career since she was 5 years old.
And Patty Gasso told us she's such a calming presence out there. She'll be the one to go into the circle when a pitcher needs a pick-me-up and say, you're okay. Fly out to center starts this 4th inning for Lyons. Kinsey Hansen with a first pitch attack against Kelly Maxwell in strike 1. Lindsey Elam, beg your pardon, batting in the 6th spot. Strike 1 to Elam, who flied out to left field her first time. Last 3 games, Elam 0 for 7, coming off what was a 15-start hitting streak. 15 straight starts with a hit. And this is going to be a hit for Elam. Served into left field. Oklahoma's 3rd hit of the game, a 1-out single for Lindsey Elam.
This is actually not a bad pitch to Elam. It's moving down. It's right at her knees on the outside corner, but her posture just gets her barreled to that pitch to be able to square it up and drive it to the left side.
So 1 on, 1 out for Jana Johns. And a first pitch called strike. Johns led off the 2-run 3rd with a walk. Came around to score on the Jada Coleman single. Jocelyn Allo had an RBI double later in the inning.
Maxwell gets a couple of calls with what looks like a backdoor curveball there. Kind of starts on the in the left-handed batter's box and then breaks back across the outside part of the plate. Just getting it a little bit. Definitely more of a pitcher's pitch. Gets the call and is able to get ahead 0-2.
Tomorrow, another NBA Sunday afternoon doubleheader lined up. The Heat Celtics both trying to stay out of the play-in series in the 6 and 7 spots right now in the East. That game at 1 Eastern on ESPN, followed by the Talk of the town, the New York Knicks, 4th place in the East against the Los Angeles Clippers at 3rd in the West. 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. NBA Countdown presented by Mountain Dew. Starts it all at noon Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. 0-2 again. And Johns lays off a rise this time. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jana Johns.
Good take by Jana Johns. You can tell she has that protect with 2 strikes mindset, but being able to read that that pitch was going to be making its way out of zone. Good take by her.
And strike 3. Maxwell picks up her 4th strikeout of the game as she goes away from Johns.
So she goes from that rise ball that's out of the zone that Jana Johns takes to then going with the off-speed pitch right on the corner. It's like an off-speed drop ball, has some wicked movement to it, but gets Jana Johns off time and swinging through it.
Four strikeouts in 3 2/3 for Maxwell now. 120 strikeouts on the year in 92 2/3 innings. Her career about 9 strikeouts per 7 innings. There's Mackenzie Donahue with 2 down. Donahue walked her first time in the middle of that 3rd inning rally. Down the right field line, this is a foul ball, and another one out of the glove of Richburg.
Kevin, you could hear it. I think that it was Reagan Wright, the catcher, telling all the way Richburg in right field that she had room. Or it could have been Allison Febri too. I'm not sure who was communicating to her, but letting her know, hey, you have room. If you want to dive, trust us. You can go for it. You can lay out. You'll be protected and have a chance to make that catch. That's 2 plays by her where she's gone all out, not come away with a catch.
And this one hit to left by Donahue. Down the line, it is foul. Or is it?
Said, no, it's foul. Well,
it looked like it was foul. She was taking her time.
The Corral said it was foul, and I think that they're pretty trustworthy out there in left field. So you got to believe them, right?
Impartial sources as can be, I would say, yeah.
I mean, they honestly have the best look of it. Trying to will it to happen, to stay. Oh, it's the worst. You just think, certainly that's fair. I got all of that one.
Maxwell with the wind ripping through her hair. This is outside, 2-2.
Well, and that wind could have been what pushed that ball foul with the way that it's blowing from center field to left field. Got up in the jet stream and pushed it foul just a bit. Howling.
Not a day for the faint of heart or body in Stillwater.
That was always my least favorite, was wind. I just, being out there, and especially at some of these Big 12 towns, it just doesn't ever, College Station included, just doesn't ever feel like the wind ever turns off, just constant on.
Now the fans have been at full blast today. 85-degree day, but winds up to 22 miles per hour. Donahue on 3-2, knocks one through the left side, a 2-out single, and the Sooners have 2 on.
Here goes the bottom of the lineup again for Oklahoma. Just when you're worried about the top with Coleman and Allo, Hansen and Jennings, it's the bottom that continues to find a way to get on base.
Six through 9 hitters right now for Oklahoma have reached base 4 out of 7 times. And here's Nicole Mendes with a pair aboard. Mendes puts one in the air. Factor comes in from center, and she's got it. And 1-0 on Haley Busby, the cleanup hitter for the Cowgirls here in the home fourth. What have you seen so far, Amanda, from Sale?
I was just about to tell you, actually. I love the way that she's tunneled her rise ball and that off-speed drop ball that she throws. So it looks like they're both coming out of the same tunnel and her hand towards the plate. One's going to give that break up, one's going to give that break down, and she's been able to throw both of them consistently. And there's a backdoor curveball there on the inside corner that had some late sharp break to it too. But you can tell that she's getting comfortable with rise ball and her off-speed drop and being able to throw off the timing of these Oklahoma State hitters.
Busby grounded into a double play, her first time. Pops this 2-1 pitch up into the short right field area. The second baseman, Jennings, will put it away.
That's the fourth fly ball out in a row for Oklahoma State. A couple of them just been easy flyouts to the infield as well.
You know, there's not too much hard contact up and down this score sheet. Factor with a double in the first. That's about it. As Pennington takes ball one. A lot of pop outs.
That's an example, though, of that off-speed drop ball. Just got out. We got out Busby with a lower rise ball, and then she goes to that off-speed drop ball that is a little bit more up in the zone, but has a complete opposite break. There it is again. She moved it a little bit lower. Instead of being on the outside corner, she moved it down in the dirt and got an aggressive Pennington to swing at it. 4 flyouts, 3 groundouts, and 3 strikeouts. Pretty even for Shannon Sale and her out distribution.
So 2 drop balls to start. The number 5 hitter Pennington. And this one a little bit harder down and in.
Off speed again. Looks like it's been the same pitch, 3 pitches in a row. Off speed, but just in different locations. Completely fooled Pennington. Don't think that she was expecting this pitch at all. You see that over-the-top rotation that gets to move down, and a smile out of Elam throwing the ball back to her.
I'm glad we caught that smile from Elam, because she looked like she knew that they had Pennington completely twisted. So last pitch was a rise ball up, and now a paint job on the outside corner from Sale as she gets Pennington looking for strikeout number 4.
Yeah, it's going to be with a curveball, so she's moving pitches through the zone with different rotations and different movements. You can see that dot on it that just clips the front of that outside corner. What a location by Shannon Sale. And also a good sell by Lindsay Elam to be able to get that strikeout.
Ball 1 overthrown to Richburg. We mentioned Lindsay Elam's leadership when she was up at the plate earlier, 2-year captain. She's not the full-time catcher, and they've got a couple of those this year. Hansen will catch as well, but she is a darn good one. In terms of pitch framing, and as you know as well as anybody, Amanda, in terms of the relationship between pitcher and catcher and the energy she brings, that is such a major part of her game.
Hey.
This one grounded fair to third. It is going to be Johns. Nope, it is a foul ball. Johns grabbed it and tried to sell it, but that'll be strike 2.
And to your point, I always loved it when I worked with a catcher that had that energy. It just really felt like we were connected. Like she had my back, like I had her back, and like we were on the same page. It's a lot of fun when you have a battery mate like that.
Sale in her 5th year at Oklahoma. Elam, a 2-year captain. What else can a good catcher add for you as a pitcher?
I love a good receiving catcher that can frame it up nice and just kind of a quiet hand, not going to move a lot. She's going to get low, not a ton of movement in her body.
Good receipt there. Elam and Sale all smiles after 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 fourth. Sunday, 1 week from tomorrow. Jada Coleman lays down a bunt, and Coleman is out at first base. Oh, Kelly Maxwell just got her. Coleman thought she beat it. Troy Kuykendall at first disagreed. I thought safe to the naked eye. We'll take a look.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. This is such a hard play for a left-handed pitcher because she has to make that turn to make the throw. And as she's turning, Coleman's running and gaining traction to get down to first base. On the bag there, and the ball not in the glove. Safe by just a little bit. I think that was closer than I even thought it was going to be. Yeah.
Patty Gasso has something to say about it, and rightfully so. Jada Coleman was safe. Should have been called safe. It would have been Coleman's 3rd time on base in the game in 3 trips, but it is not to be. Patty Gasso, by the way, was kind enough to speak with us about her mom on this Mother's Day weekend and the wonderful relationship that they have. Her mom, Janet Freilich, will be celebrating Mother's Day tomorrow. There is Mom Janet and Patty. Look at that at a Dodgers game in the postseason. Love that picture. We appreciate Patty sharing that with us. She said that she and her mom bonded over listening to Dodger baseball on the radio, as so many did. The wonderful voice of Vin Scully. Janet, a single mom raising Patty. Patty said she'd come home from work in her cat glasses and heels and go right to the park and coach our team. That's Jocelyn Allo into right field, and Allo has her 2nd hit of the game.
I like how she referred to Miss Janet, too, as her sports partner. And still is her sports partner.
Yep.
Love that. How cool to get to be with your mom or parents over listening to sporting events and Dodgers games. For them, for me, it was Astros. What would it be for you?
My dad's a huge Yankee fan, so yeah, we grew up watching Yankee games. Very similar thing.
Yeah.
And Patty is obviously such an accomplished coach and an accomplished figure in the game of softball. She said, look, my mom was a great athlete. It just wasn't necessarily cool for women to play sports when she was growing up. So she didn't have the kind of maybe softball or athletic career that she could have had. But she coached Patty. She inspired her to become involved in the game. And Mom, look at the numbers on the screen. You did well.
Yeah.
1,481 wins as a college head coach and a whole bunch of national titles. Oklahoma's going to pinch run here, by the way, for Allo in the 5th. That is Riley Boone, who checks into the game. Batter is Kinsey Hansen, and that pitch is somewhere. I don't know, low, maybe?
Maybe. Looks good to me.
I'm just trying to take some of the blame off my shoulders here. I just want to get you on my bad bats team.
It looked like a really, really good pitch. A ton of movement right at the knees. I would have wanted to call. But yet here we are, 1-1 count.
You know what? Oklahoma State got lucky on the call at first to start this inning, so you win some, you lose some. You get an out, you give up a strike.
There's balance in everything. Everything.
That's right. That was very nature documentary of you. With balance and everything. You could be the Sir David Attenborough of our time, I think, with that kind of mentality.
I was going to say, that's about as philosophical as I get right there. That's my cap.
A couple of days after Star Wars Day, too. We know there's balance in the Force. 2-1 for Hansen, who has struck out, fouled out. And Kinsey chases a high one here. Throw down to second on the pinch runner, Boone, and she is safe. She would have been out, but Petty couldn't hang on to the throw.
Reagan Wright has just been showing up so big in this Bedlam rivalry. She already threw out Coleman earlier in this game. Throws from her knees and just again is on the money to Petty, who's covering from second base. She just can't hold on to it. She would have been out, but the slide slid into her glove and just cannot hold on to that ball that finds itself right there on the ground.
So Boone will be credited with a steal. Her 6th and 7 tries. And a runner at second for Hansen, the number 3 hitter, with a 2-2 count. Hansen fouls one away. Hey, coming up after this game here on ESPN, big Major League Soccer matchup. Orlando City and New York City FC. 2nd and 3rd place, New York City and Orlando, respectively, in the Eastern Conference, right behind New England. This one sprayed on the ground to third, a fair ball. The play not made in time at first by Pennington, and good base running by Boone, the pinch runner, who got to third on the play. Probably a play where Pennington should have just held on to the ball, and now Kenny Gajewski is out. Maybe he thinks this is a foul ball, or is he arguing about this? Okay, a shoulder delivered to the first baseman Febri on the way in from Hansen.
I can see both players just moving in the same direction because of the fact that Febri was moving across her body to be able to grab that throw. Incredible, actually, that throw didn't get behind her with the shot that she took.
Patty Gasso's got her lineup card and pencil out again. Possibly another pinch runner for Hansen at first. And there will be that. You think there's anything in that, or just the normal base running move by Hansen?
You know, I know Kinsey Hansen. I would just have to say that I don't think that there was malicious intent there. Just a hard play, but either way, it hurts Febri the same. That shoulder-to-shoulder contact.
Taylor Snow's going to pinch run. So Boone, the pinch runner at third. Snow, the pinch runner at first. And Tiare Jennings, the National Player of the Year finalist, has another chance to do damage. 0 for 2 in this cleanup spot. Jennings, first pitch hunting, and a swing through, strike. Jennings had a big opportunity in the third with 2 on, 2 out, 9-pitch at bat, ended with a ground out to short. 537 on base, 70 RBIs, second in the country to her teammate Alo. 1-1.
Coach Gasso said that her and Alo pretty connected. Alo is constantly in her ear in a good way, wanting to help out, talk hitting, talk approach.
That is ball 2. How do you play this out now, Amanda, if you're Maxwell, 2-1 against one of the best RBI producers in the country?
Continue to trust that off-speed pitch. Got to keep the ball in the dirt to your infield, particularly the left side. So hard to tell remotely, especially when there's not a radar gun, the speed and the firmness of a pitch, but that one did seem to be a little bit off speed there to Jennings.
Two. Strike three, she got her fishing. Down and away, and Maxwell strikes out the freshman superstar.
She's only struck out 9 times all season, and she gets Jennings to chase with the pitch that moves away from her and down, gets her to chase out of her strike zone. Had a good take on the outside corner earlier on in the Sate, but felt the pressure with those 2 strikes.
And Jennings, who's driven in so many this year, has left 4 on base her last 2 at-bats. Up to Grace Lyons in the inning. You know, it's felt like Oklahoma has taken the game essentially into its hands here in the last few innings, but they left 2 runners on in the 3rd. They left 2 on in the 4th. If Maxwell gets out of this jam, Oklahoma State will still be in prime position to come back and win this game, despite all of the base runners for the Sooners. Lions trying to not make that happen, and she's ahead in the count, 2-0.
Yeah, and they were down by 3 runs last night and still able to come back and get that win in game 1.
There's a 4-1 Oklahoma lead midway through the 3rd. Cowgirls got the final 6 for a game 1 win. Snapped a 24-game losing streak to OU. 2-0. And Lions takes ball 3 with the senior Lindsey Elam waiting on deck.
Just situations and emotions and experiences that you can't recreate at practice, and both of these coaches knowing going into this series that no matter the outcome of wins and losses, that both of their teams would be better because they played each other in May and prepared for the postseason. You have to remember, Kevin, that Kelly Maxwell is listed as a sophomore, but technically Coach Gajewski called her basically a 3rd-year freshman, redshirted her true freshman year. Then there, of course, was the COVID season, and so this is just her real first February to May all the way through year.
She's been brilliant in it, but she walks Lions, and Oklahoma has the bases loaded for Lindsey Elam. 4th walk of the game handed out by Maxwell. Oklahoma State has not won a conference championship since 1995, which at the time was their 7th straight conference championship in the old Big 8. Oklahoma's got to win the next 2 for a 9th consecutive Big 12 title. Bases loaded for Elam. And a first pitch strike. Fly out to left field in the 2nd. And a sharp single to left in the 4th for Lindsey Elam. So strong behind the plate today. Trying to deliver at it and give the Sooners some breathing room. Elam pops it up foul, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, when we asked Coach Gasso, who's an unsung hero on this team of yours this year, first person that she named was Lindsey Elam, our captain. She gets talked about, but not a lot. Turned into a great hitter this year, and she keeps this team together. Big moment here for the senior.
Off speed again, 0-2?
I'd go for it. I love that pitch of hers.
And Elam puts it in the air, short right center. It falls in for a hit. That will score 2 on an 0-2 pitch. Lindsey Elam, the 2-year captain, drives in a pair for the Sooners. Because Oklahoma has so much power, oftentimes the outfielders are going to think that
okay, I need to go back. It's going to beat me behind me, but Factor gets kind of a bad jump on it. It falls in front of her, and it was hit off the end of her bat. She didn't get all of it by any means because that pitch was low and away, but you have to respect the power with over 100 home runs this season by Oklahoma, and as an outfielder, you're expecting to go back more times than not, and for that, Lindsey Elam gets a couple of RBIs and extends this lead. In fact, she doubles it.
Oklahoma 4 for 9 in the game now with runners in scoring position and a chance to add more with Jana Johns. And this is what Oklahoma does when they go dormant, which is not very often. They are a constant threat. They're 7 for 14 since an 0 for 6 start to the game, and a lot of that damage has been done at the bottom of the lineup. Elam 2 for 3. Johns has a walk. Donahue behind her with a walk and a single. Can you contextualize at all what it's like as a pitcher mentally to face a lineup like this where there's no let up?
Yeah, it is so taxing. You can't take any pitch off. You think at some lineups that you go up against, you're like, all right, cool, we're down at 7, 8, 9 in their lineup, but nobody really bats lower than 333 for this team. For their everyday starters, that's their lowest average, and that is the person who's up at the plate right now entering this game, Jana Johns. That's what her average was coming in.
So if you've thrown 105 pitches against this line, does it feel like 105 or does it feel like, I don't know, 205?
Yeah, it feels more like 170, just more mentally draining than even physically draining.
Maxwell trying to get through a long inning, and she does. She gets rid of Johns and strands a pair, but Oklahoma brings in 2 this week after a layoff of 1,098 days. Some rain a couple of years ago, the tournament not held, of course, last season. Oklahoma trying to become the #1 seed. They'll have to hang on today and win tomorrow. Oklahoma State needs just 1 win for its first conference championship since 1995. 1-1-2 Reagan Wright will have every game of the Big 12 championship for you on ESPN Plus, on our ESPN family of networks, and the championship game next Saturday, 4 Eastern, 3 Central in Oklahoma City on ESPN2. 1-1 pitch to Reagan Wright into right field and tracked down by Nicole Mendes. That's another air out for Shannon Sale, who has retired 8 in a row, Amanda, and allowed just 1 hit.
Yeah, she's done a really good job of mixing her pitches with a different movement and just trying to keep Oklahoma State on their toes, been able to spin the ball up, work her curveball on both sides of the plate, and what has just complemented everything that I just said is that off-speed drop ball with some really good down-south movement.
Able to go up and in here for strike 1 on Petty. By the way, Taylon Snow stayed in the game after pinch running, and she is at first base defensively for OU. Petty's the last Cowgirl to reach, and she reached when Sale hit her in the batting helmet with a wayward pitch. There is Snow, the new first baseman, and defensively for Hansen. Shannon Sale began her career at Florida International, Conference USA Freshman of the Year in 2017. First team all-conference after that. Her 3rd year in the circle for Oklahoma. And she has pitched like an ace, whether she throws on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, because it is a deep pitching staff with G. Juarez and Nicole May. She has been one of the nation's best. Scoreless streak now at 23 1/3 innings.
And this is a really good, strong Oklahoma State offense, too. one that can put up a lot of runs in a hurry. So for her to come out in this game after giving up she didn't give up 6 runs, but after Oklahoma gave up 6 runs yesterday, to have these shutdown after shutdown after shutdown innings is just really starting to take the sails out of OSU.
You do that intentionally?
Which part?
Take the sails out of OSU?
No. Oh, that's good. I love that.
Yeah, it apparently wasn't very good because you didn't even know you were doing it. 3-2. And that one sails away low, so Shannon puts on Petty. That ends the streak of 8 consecutive retired, and Petty has reached base twice, a hit by pitch and a 7-pitch walk.
And Oklahoma State, Kevin, has yet to get a runner to third base even.
I'd say that would be a good idea. My layman advice, be try to get somebody to third.
Yeah.
Chelsea Alexander tried to get somebody to second first. That one nearly hit her. And here's Lindsey Elam showing good leadership, realizing this is a moment to come out and talk to my pitcher.
Yeah, Shannon Sale has had 5 strikeouts in this game, been able to mix and get 3 different strikeout pitches. There's her off-speed drop ball. There's that north movement with her rise ball. She's able to expand the zone with it. And there's her curveball. Good spin, good late break. She truly is more of a strikeout pitcher.
11 swings and misses for Sale. 5th in the country in ERA coming into the game. 3rd in hits per 7 innings. Now 23 hits allowed in 65 innings. Alexander squares to bunt. Here's a throw behind at first, and Petty is in safely. So 1-2 on the batter, Alexander. And she'll lay down a bunt. This is a fair ball. Alexander is safe as the ball gets away. Petty's coming around third. She's coming home. Alexander to third. Oklahoma State is on the board and threatening for more on a bunt base hit and a defensive miss. The best defensive team in the country, Oklahoma, just threw it away there as Elam's throw went sailing down the right field line.
Yeah, Alexander lays down a beautiful bunt right out in front of home plate. This is going to be Janet Johns, actually, that barehands it, makes a throw, and it just is impossible for Snow to be able to grab that throw as it was up the line. But Nicole Mendez not doing her job to be the backup on that throw. It gets by her all the way to the wall, and it's easily going to score Petty. And with the speed of Alexander, she's going to be able to round second, head for third. And if you're somebody who has that much speed, you're like, send me, I want to make it all the way. But not with the top of the lineup coming up for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Johns, the third baseman, you're right, Amanda, with the throwing error there. It's only the 12th of the year for Oklahoma. Fewest in the NCAA. And for Johns, just her third. It's an Oklahoma team on pace for the best fielding percentage in history. Kylie Naomi fouls the ball away, and with a runner at third, 1 out, Sale quickly finds herself ahead 0-2. Naomi a bunt ground out and a fly out to short center. Oklahoma got 2 in the top of the 5th. Oklahoma State trying to at least match it here. Naomi puts it in play to center, should be deep enough. Jada Coleman is there. Alexander will score, and it's a 2-strike sacrifice fly for Naomi. Cowgirls answer back, and it's a 2-run game once more.
And good at bat there by Naomi to get down 0-2 and still be able to take this ball deep enough to score Alexander in the sacrifice fly. Jennings is pretty much right there next to the warning track, and quickly Oklahoma State able to cut the Oklahoma lead in half.
Here is Cheyenne Factor. A walk, a bunt, and a fly ball is not typically how you draw up a 2-run rally, but that throwing error by Johns looms large, and as you pointed out too, Amanda, Mendez did not get to that ball right away in right field, which cost 1, maybe 2 bases, both from Petty coming home from first and then Alexander going first to third.
What a different offensive game today than what happened in Game 1 last night when there were 6 home runs hit. The ball was just flying out of the ballpark, and here we've had some small ball errors, singles. In fact, Cheyenne Factor was a factor in those home runs that were hit last night. She can hit for power, pitch that was up in the zone with G. Juarez in the circle, hit it over the corral or the social. I don't know exactly which is which, but it doesn't matter. These fans here support Oklahoma State and give them a big home field advantage.
That one I know you meant to do. Right?
Believe it or not, no.
No, you said Factor was a factor. You meant to do.
Oh, yeah,
Come
that
on.
one. Yeah, that one's, yeah.
All right. Scarborough, a fair effort there. 10 runs scored yesterday. Every run scored on a home run. Today, no runs scored on home runs. And again, it was a game where 10 runs were scored without a hit with a runner in scoring position. Oklahoma State won the game without an at-bat with a runner in scoring position. That one low, despite Elam's best sell, and 3-0 now to Factor with a tying run on deck.
Close pitch going with the backdoor curveball right there on the knees. Maybe didn't cut back enough that inside corner to be able to get the strike.
21st pitch of the inning for Sale, her most in any inning today, and it is strike 1 to Cheyenne Factor. Number 2 hitter for the Cowgirls.
She started really back up off of the plate. Look at how far away she is from the plate, but about mid-pitch, she kind of took a little step to get closer to the plate. Didn't do it this time.
Why is that? Just trying to mess with Sale?
Yeah, maybe to mess with her a little bit, try to take away that inside corner and that backdoor curve that she's throwing.
I do wonder too how much of that is just on a 3-0 count, like a hitter that'll just show bunt, maybe to give the pitcher something to look at.
Yeah, good point.
So it's a walk, and here is Febri as the tying run. 13 home runs on the year, and ball 1 thrown by Shannon Sale.
Coach Gajewski, just as Nicole May warms up in the bullpen, Coach Gajewski loves the experience that Allison Febri brings to this team from her experience playing in the SEC at Georgia. She understands how people call games. She understands how she's being pitched. She can recall games and at-bats and how a pitcher was trying to get her out. We asked her, where does that come from? How do you know how to do that? And she said, plain and simple, Georgia. We watched so much film. I learned so much from the coaches there. I'm able to take that into being a hitter here at Oklahoma State.
Febri on 2-0, knocks it out of play. She has homered in 4 of the first 5 conference series this year. Every series but the Baylor series. She's got an RBI in 29 out of Oklahoma State's 46 games. Febri on 2-1, another good hack, and another foul ball. 2-2 from Shannon Sale. So the 2 strikes have been to the arm side here, outside corner on Febri. And that one not close. What do you like here on 3-2?
I like that off-speed pitch, that drop ball, that off-speed drop ball.
Oh, and that was foul tipped into the mid of Elam. She hangs on for strike 3.
At stake, and Oklahoma wants to keep that streak.
Mackenzie Donahue leads off in the 6th. It's 8 in a row Big 12 championships in the regular season for Patty Gasso. Yesterday, her first loss in the regular season in the Big 12 since 2017. 4 years since the Sooners had dropped a game. They have not lost a Big 12 series since 2011. Oklahoma 55 wins, 4 ties in its last 59 Big 12 series. Ball and a strike from Kelly Maxwell, and she fires strike 2 past Donahue.
I love the way that we've seen both pitchers fight through some tough moments in this game, both Sale and Maxwell. It's not been the easiest games to throw against the toughest lineup, most power in the country, Kelly Maxwell, but when she's throwing strikes, she's been really, really good.
Has struck out 5, has not allowed a home run, but she has walked 4. 3 of those walks have come in the run-scoring innings. 2-2. And strikeout number 6 for Maxwell to kickstart the 6th inning. Actually, strikeout number 7 for Maxwell. She gets Donahue, and there is 1 away. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell tomorrow. The series finale between the first-place Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. 7 Eastern, 6 Central on ESPN, plus our StatCast version on ESPN2. Baseball tonight, Sunday Night Countdown kicks it all off 1 hour before 6 Eastern, 5 Central on ESPN. Nicole Mendez 0 for 2, has seen just 4 pitches in the game, and she'll see it 5th and see it well. Into right field and off the scoreboard. Nicole Mendez to the moon, and Oklahoma leads 5-2. 6th home run for Mendez. Home run number 118 for the Sooners as a team.
You just can't take any part of this Oklahoma lineup for granted. Mendez, the senior, out of the 9 spot, steps open toward first base just a little. It gets her barrel to a pitch that's about belt high and just sends it out. We've seen her have big moments in regular season games or non-conference games, in conference games, in the World Series, and she's just been such a leader for this Oklahoma team.
You see Jada Coleman there too, practically spring into the baseline from the on-deck circle to cheer her on.
I didn't know what was going on there. A little bit of love from her teammate, but it's like, whoa, where are you coming from there?
Like she was going to tackle her. Watch Jada. That's the kind of energy and life Jada Coleman brings. Walk, RBI single, and what should have been a bunt single, she was erroneously called out. She's even laughing about strike 2. She's still bringing it at the end.
It's the hype woman on the team.
Now we're playing in the Dust Bowl, apparently. Look at the dirt being kicked up by the wind behind Coleman. Coleman moved into the leadoff spot today, on base for the 34th consecutive game.
You remember, Kevin, when we were talking to Coach Gasso coming into this series and about her offense and just really how everything has come together for this team, she kind of reflected back all the way to 2019 and the way that the season ended at the Women's College World Series, losing in the national championship game to UCLA. Then reflected back to 2020 in the shortened season, saying we just weren't a good team.
They're a good team right now, as Jada Coleman punches a single into center field. 3rd time on base for the freshman Coleman.
But she bragged about this offense in the fall before they had even played an opponent in a different uniform. They did a ton of inner squatting. They were so motivated just to be able to finally play a team with a different uniform on whenever they started the season. They hit 13 home runs in one game. Coleman being able to stay on a pitch on the outside corners, continuing to show that emotion this Oklahoma team plays with.
I thought it was interesting what you bring up, what Patty Gasso said. It was early last year when the season got canceled. There was no conference play. They'd still played 30-plus games, and she said, look, this just wasn't good enough. It was not up to the standards set by Oklahoma, and they came out this season like caged animals, and somebody opened the door. Oklahoma State's going to go to the bullpen here. Logan Simonek into the circle with a 5-2 Sooner lead.
If it's true that time is money, don't you think the real question is how you should spend it? Keep the change, baby. Find the fine life.
Bag alert, major bag alert, major bag alert, major bag.
The Bacon Double Stack is back in the Biggie Bag for just $5. Only at Wendy's.
Major bag alert.
Every Sunday night, it's baseball for all of us.
I am so excited. Let's play two. Glaze out and makes the catch. Hey,
See ya.
Give us.
Give us.
Give us. Give us.
Give us. Give us the Phillies and the Braves on Sunday Night Baseball. Tomorrow at 7 on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell.
Logan Simonek is the third Cowgirl to throw this weekend. Carrie Eberly, a complete game yesterday. Kelly Maxwell, 5 1/3 today. And now Simonek, the Piedmont, Oklahoma native, out of the bullpen in a 3-run game. Solid numbers for Simonek this year, 2.40 ERA, her 18th appearance and 10th in relief.
Yeah, her rise ball is definitely her go-to pitch. She has some improved velocity this season.
Better be good here because Jocelyn Allo awaits her. And that's ball 1 from Simonek. Allo a strikeout, an RBI double to right, and a single to right, showing off her prodigious opposite field power. Okay, a little late break, Logan Simonek.
Yeah, some good late break. Back in 2019, whenever I was covering Oklahoma, talking to Oklahoma State, talking to Coach Gajewski, he said Simonek at that point had the best stuff on their team. She can have some really deceptive movement and throw 3 speeds with that rise ball.
You don't handwrite your notes, do you?
No, I don't.
See, this is the great thing about the technological age. We can all be hoarders easily.
Exactly.
2-1 for the nation's home run leader. And now 3-1 to Allo, with the new first baseman, Talon Snow, potentially coming up next. And Simonek goes after Allo on a 3-1 pitch and gets another swinging strike.
We saw a wiffle ball type movement out of Brooke Yanez last night, the pitcher for Oregon. This is the same type of situation here. It looked like that pitch broke back toward the plate, almost like a backdoor screwball.
That's been the pitch for both swinging strikes. What'll it be? 3-2. Another one. And Otto, the mighty Jocelyn Otto, was just reduced to dust.
Oh, wow. You said it. She threw that pitch 3 different times, and it just had the most unbelievable break back in toward Alo. That just usually is a type of movement you see from a left-handed pitcher, not a righty. I mean, you could just tell Alo was so stumped walking back into the dugout, just thinking to herself, like, what was that?
It's a ball that looked like it teleported, to be honest with you.
Funny that you say that.
Kinsey Hansen on the ground to second, and Snow, the first baseman, is safe. However, Coleman is not. She's out at third. She's saying she was pissed off the base, though. Oklahoma State celebrating the out. Jada Coleman is getting into it, now going to jog into the OU dugout. Patty Gasso steamed again. Again, we're not in Stillwater there, so we're catching the tail end of that play. We, like you, we're going to have to look at it again on replay, but Coleman was not happy, and neither was her head coach. And here's why. She's saying she got pushed off the base. She's out. No reversing now. We're going to the bottom of the 6th. All right, this is what happened to end the top of the 6th inning. Jada Coleman is in at third, and then, whoop, her hand just gets knocked off the base by the Oklahoma State third baseman, Sydney Pennington. And then Coleman, very emotional about it. She's been emotional all game. Oklahoma State going at her a little bit as Coleman is ruled out to end the inning. What do you think of that play, Amanda?
It's getting chippy, man. And you could tell that Pennington did that because of the fact that Coleman's momentum was already kind of trying to take her away from the base, so she knew that hand would be loose, just trying to stick the tag, maybe push a little bit to get her hand off the base.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not like Coleman was just sitting there and Pennington knocked it off. Her momentum was still a factor. At the same time, any Oklahoma fans who are watching and saying, that's just a dirty play, you knock somebody off, I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
This is one I think both sides here are going to have a reasonable claim. As Busby, the cleanup hitter, gets drilled in the knee on an 0-2 pitch. And we are approaching maximum bedlam as Oklahoma State starts a rally in the home 6th.
Yeah, you could just see, feel, hear that emotion when she was running off the field and what's going on right now. And now Sale takes all that emotion into the circle and just tries to balance it out as best as she can and work through it. Hit by pitch there for Busby to get the leadoff hitter on.
So Sale threw 28 pitches in the 5th. It was a fairly laborious inning. Oklahoma State's got a pinch run. Macy Kidconen will pinch run for Busby. 92 pitches for Sale. She is throwing in the 6th inning for only the 2nd start this year. Now that sounds crazy. She's 5th in the country in ERA. She fires strike one past Pennington. Oklahoma has won 30 games by run rule margins. So they just don't play in the 6th that often. So Sale has only gone past 5 innings once. Pennington into center field, and Coleman makes the play. Jada Coleman is everywhere for Oklahoma.
She's so quick, she's so focused. Clearly, not letting that emotion get the best of her to be able to stay in the game on defense, track down this ball, reach for it, even fighting the wind. You know that that ball is moving. It's not playing true. Almost pops out of her glove, and then she has a really good arm out there in center field trying to double off Busby.
Ball one to Richburg now. It is Jada Coleman giveth and Jada Coleman taketh away in this 6th inning. Slapped off of third base. And it was Pennington with the tap. And now Pennington robbed here as Richburg bangs one into right field too quickly, because the pinch runner, Concannon, is out on the throw from Mendes from right. Forced play at second, and Oklahoma is showing up defensively.
It's tough for the pinch runner of Concannon to be able to play that, because you see the ball in the air. You have to make sure that Nicole Mendes is not going to catch it. So all you can do is get as big of a lead as you can. And right there, she's stuck, because she has to be able to get back to first base if she catches it. And then, of course, she has to be able to get to second if it hits the grass.
9-6 on the play, and now Reagan Wright, and now that's the inning. One conference. Orlando off to its best start ever. NYCFC second in the East. That game will commute over to ESPN whenever this one ends. 15-game win streak in conference play on the line right now for the Cowgirls after they dropped their opener of the conference season, lost 7-4 to Kansas to open the Big 12. Game where they committed 3 errors. It's an odd resume for Oklahoma State, Amanda. They have a lot of great wins, but they've lost to Houston, they've lost to Kansas City, a couple of losses to Wichita State, which is a very good team, top 25 team or thereabouts. But their defense has let them down in a couple of key spots. However, they are 1 win away from winning the Big 12. They could be a Big 12 champion with some of those odd losses on the resume if they can find a way to win either today or tomorrow at 11 a.m. local.
Yeah, they have a couple of games to do it because of the fact that Oklahoma has played fewer conference games than Oklahoma State.
This pitch grounded to short. Naomi with a backhand play and zips it to first to get T.R.A. Jennings.
Yeah, they ended up playing Baylor in a doubleheader instead of a 3-game series. So therefore, Oklahoma has played 1 less game in Big 12 conference play, and Oklahoma State's played them all. Haven't missed out on any games.
26 years since this proud program, Oklahoma State, has won a conference title. That was in 1995 in the Big 8. That's when Oklahoma State ruled the conference. They won 7 consecutive conference championships, but they have not seen their name next to that number 1 at the end of the line since then. That ball smacked up the middle and through, a base hit for Grace Lyons. A 1-for-3 game with a walk for the Oklahoma shortstop.
Now batting for Oklahoma, the catcher number 22, Lindsey Elam.
Lindsey Elam with 1 out. 2-for-3 game for Elam. Her last hit, a big one. 2-run single with the bases loaded in the 5th. And strike 1 from Logan Simonek.
Here's Simonek. Your job right now in your relief appearance is to keep the score exactly where it's at. Down by 3 runs seems somewhat manageable for an Oklahoma State offense that can score pretty quickly. They'll have 8-9-1 coming up in the bottom of the 7th. But you can't let Oklahoma extend this lead anymore. You've got to be sharp. You've got to find a way to get outs, and you've got to throw that crazy pitch that we've never seen before these right-handed hitters some more, because that pitch was just unbelievable, starting in the left-handed batter's box and moving in toward these right-handed hitters.
Hey, tomorrow, great Sunday afternoon doubleheader in the NBA. Heat Celtics at 1 Eastern. Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, two teams trying to stay out of that play-in bracket. Two teams currently out of the play-in bracket. The Knicks, 4th place in the East against the Clippers. Julius Randle, Player of the Month in the Eastern Conference. 1 Eastern, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN, streaming live on the app. This ground ball to second will net 1 out. Lions tagged out by Petty. Elam on at first on the fielder's choice, and 2 down. Appreciate the musical choice there of "I'm petty, I'm petty." Carly Petty makes the play in second.
I didn't know that you get a walkout song for just making a defensive play. That's pretty cool.
Right. That's next level. I guess it is a little bit hipper than like American Girl or Free Fallin' too.
I think Elam was hoping that the umpire would say that she avoided the tag and didn't end up putting it on her, but looks like Busby did.
Reminder that 1 week from tomorrow, the NCAA Tournament Selection Show, 9 Eastern ESPN2. From Tuscaloosa, we'll reveal the 64-team field after the SEC Tournament all week in Tuscaloosa. What's your biggest question mark right now as we're 8 days out?
Oh, man, you hit me with a big question.
Oh, hang on a second. We're being told from the folks here in Stillwater that Patty Gasso, Oklahoma head coach, has just been thrown out of the game. So I wonder if it's what you brought up. Maybe Gasso is arguing whether or not Lyons was tagged. Again, we're not in Stillwater. We're relying on the angles we have and the folks there. But apparently Patty Gasso has been ejected from this game.
You know, I have a feeling that that play at third base, whenever Coleman and Pennington had the situation at third base, she was kind of fiery about that one. I have a feeling that she was warned and then potentially would have been warned again here in that second warning. You're going to get ejected.
Remember, she argued a play in the 5th, too, that Coleman bunt. So there have been a couple of plays that Patty Gasso's not been thrilled about, understandably so. And she has been ejected from the game. Meanwhile, Grace Green is pinch hitting for Oklahoma. Former Big 12 Freshman of the Year. 2 years ago, 3rd-team All-American. Okay, here we go. This was after the play. Patty Gasso in the third base coach's box.
Oh, gotcha. Just toss that.
Mom, I hope you turned it off before the 7th. So that's JT Gasso, Patty's son, who takes her spot. Always going to be a Gasso in the third base coach's box in this game. Three and one for the pinch hitter Green with 2 outs here in the 7th. And there's a called strike.
You know, Patty Gasso did say about Grace Green that doesn't play a lot of defense, might play a little bit of first base, but throughout the game, she is just standing in the dugout, staying ready for this type of call and for her to be able to get an opportunity in a pinch hit situation to come through for her team.
And Green will do just that. A fair ball tucked inside the bag. Elam's coming around third. She'll score. Green to third. And she is just a little bit past the bag as she's tagged out. But an RBI double for Grace Green will give Oklahoma some added insurance. 6-2 Sooners with 3 outs to go for a split.
Every run matters.
Petty will lead it off. Ball one from Shannon Sale, who has labored a little bit, but not much. Had traffic on the bases behind her in the first and second innings, gave up 2 runs in the 5th, but has mostly been sharp.
She's had some good late break, and it's looked like Oklahoma State has swung at some pretty good pitches. They've just not been able to figure her out. They've not been able to barrel her up and drive the ball. Big difference, too, I think that you're seeing is in Oklahoma, with the amount of hits that they've put on the board, they've made the adjustment of just not trying to hit it against the wind, put the ball in the air. They've hit more line drives, gotten more of the top of the ball. With this wind blowing in, it's just impossible to work against it, except if you're Nicole Mendez. I guess she hit it out, but
after a night where there were 6 home runs combined, Mendez has the only one for either side. 1-2. And Petty stays alive.
I think, too, if you're Oklahoma, if you're Jennifer Rocha, the pitching coach for Oklahoma, Patty Gasso, the coaching staff for Oklahoma, you're really proud of Shannon Sale for the outing that she's had here today against a really good offense in OSU.
Petty lifts it in the air, right center field, deep and gone. Oklahoma State won't back down. It's not over yet as Petty sends one out to right center. It's a 6-3 game.
Just a really good game out of the 8-hole. Hit by pitch, walk, and then this home run that's more of a line drive type home run. It's the bottom half of the ball. She's timed up, squares it up, and just drives it to center field. Didn't get into the airstream too much because it was more of a line drive to get out of here, and she had the power to score herself around the bases.
6th of the year for Petty. Such a versatile player. In this game, she's been hit by a pitch, she's walked, and she has homered. So 3 trips to the plate. Petty in the number 8 spot reached all 3. Now Chelsea Alexander, team leader in average and on-base percentage. 2-0.
You know, I was thinking another thing that's probably helped Shannon Sale get comfortable throughout this game is the fact that her offense has shown up in a big way. Double-digit hits, scored in 4 different innings. She's been able to go deeper into this game with knowing that her offense has had her back, putting those 6 runs on the board.
And this season for Oklahoma pitchers, that's been the standard. But usually it's more than 6. They average, Oklahoma does, 11.5 runs per game. Now this should be Jennifer Rocha, the pitching coach, with a 3-0 count on Chelsea Alexander.
And you can see in the crowd, Kevin, not one of these Oklahoma State fans or Oklahoma fans who are attending the game here in Stillwater have left. They are in it for the long haul, understanding that if there are outs left, that your team has a chance to get back into this thing.
Yeah, clearly, it's not 100% capacity here. We're told it would still be limited capacity. It seems to have been less limited than we thought, but it's a Bedlam series, so however limited it is, it's going to feel electric. Oklahoma State needs 2 more base runners to have a chance to tie the game, and with the music still blaring, with ELO still blasting through the speakers, Sale is just ready to pitch, and she fired in strike 1. 3-1. And now 3-2 as Sale finds her rhythm.
You know, I'm sure Rocha went out there and told her in that 3-0 count, look, just throw strikes. We're still up by 3 runs. You have really good stuff today. Your ball is moving. I have your back. Just throw strikes here and trust your stuff.
Series finale tomorrow. Noon Eastern, 11 Central. ESPNU. We also saw noon Eastern, 11 Central tomorrow. Texas A&M, Florida. Gators a walk-off win over the Aggies last night. They need to win the next 2 to get the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament. Arkansas has clinched at least a share of the title. That hit Alexander. Only question was, did it hit the bat? And here is Michael Parker. He threw up the hands immediately. And I think he's going to call Alexander back. Well, now he's going to call the umpires together first. Did it hit the knob of the bat or did it hit the hands?
Initially live, I thought that it hit the knob of the bat just by the sound too. But
I thought so too.
Knob of bat and wrist bone may sound a lot alike in terms of a ball hitting it.
By the way, mentioned earlier, Florida needs to win the next two to win the SEC, or at least to share the SEC, get the top seed. I can't tell from there. Florida is beating A&M 4-0 in the 7th. Just want to update folks on that. Well, it looks like this is going to go against Oklahoma State. Alexander's showing the hand and the wrist. She's saying, look at where it hit me. Now, it is possible the ball could hit you and also hit the knob of the bat, but Alexander is saying, I get hit by the pitch, here's where. Alexander's trying to pull a 1969 World Series shoe polish kind of situation. And now, I mean, the umpire's going to look at this, I guess, as a code of evidence. I mean, I think it hits her on the wrist first, and maybe it caught the bat after, but it definitely gets her on the wrist. I think it should stand as a hit by pitch. We do need a decision at some point. You can't go to the video here and look at a replay. So at some point, the umpires have to make a call, and here's what Chelsea's saying. Look at right there. You think I got this for nothing? That's swollen up. She's going to stay at first.
And I really think at one point it had been reversed, and then Chelsea Alexander did the sell job with the wrist.
Absolutely. I think she show and told her way back into a hit by pitch. Now what do we have? Jennifer Rocha again. Again, Patty Gasso has been ejected from this game. I hope Patty has a nice, comfortable seat in the Oklahoma clubhouse watching this. I'm sure her heart rate is not steady right now in a 3-run Bedlam game, and Jen's going to go out to the circle.
She may be on the bus watching.
And the Sooners turn to Olivia Raines, the sophomore who's thrown in 14 games and has not allowed an earned run. She is not a name that a lot of folks may know. She's not May or Juarez or Sale. She's not started a game. But 16 2/3 innings, only 11 base runners, no earned runs against. As she'll face the top of the order, and she is quickly behind the leadoff hitter, Kylie Naomi. Great sophomore year for Raines, Amanda, but have to imagine this is her most emotionally turbocharged spot.
That's a good way to put it. And turbocharged, but just a great opportunity for her to pitch in this environment.
Throw behind at first. Alexander had taken a big lead. She's back in there safely. Elamo is ready to pounce behind the plate. One more ball, and Oklahoma State will bring the tying run to the plate with nobody out. And there is a called strike one.
And a changeup on a 3-0 count. Clearly a pitch that she has a ton of confidence in. To throw it in a 3-0 to the leadoff hitter. So much trust in that pitch right there, trying to get back into this count.
Naomi to left and foul. Landed right in front of Donahue in foul territory.
Yeah, it seemed like she may have had a chance to catch that with where it landed and where she was. But again, it's hard to tell when we're in Texas and New York calling these games.
I mean, you're closer than me, but
I am.
neither of us are there. And a low line drive, maybe with some wind, maybe with some sun. Donahue didn't seem like she saw it clearly. So 3-2, and that's ball 4. With nobody out, Oklahoma State is going to bring the tying run to the plate. A leadoff home run by Petty out of the 8 spot. Alexander, controversially, depending on who you ask, hit by a pitch. And Cheyenne Factor, who homered yesterday, can tie the game. Factor has doubled to the wall, popped out and walked. And she is first pitch hunting against Raines on strike 1.
I like the way, though, if you're Raines, that pitch got up and in on Factor's hands. You can tell that she's really going to want to change speeds, rely on that off-speed pitch, and that makes her hard stuff look even faster because she has so much trust in her off-speed.
0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike from Raines, who stays off speed. The Oklahoma Gatorade Player of the Year in 2017 at a Pryor, Oklahoma. Allison Febri in all of her games of experience. So wait. That is dropped by the catcher Elam, and that'll move the runners up. Look, those runs, they don't really matter because it's a 3-run game, but now the force is off at second and third base.
It's a really good point. Oklahoma has such a great defense. It's a backhand flip changeup. I thought that should have been a called strike. Hit off of Elam's glove and got away from her, just fooled her a little bit, but I think also may have fooled the umpire.
Absolutely a strike, and just plainly missed by Michael Parker. A huge break for OSU. 2-1. And that is ball 3. I mean, that's an at-bat changing pitch. You know it, how important the 1-1 pitch is and how drastically the splits are between 1 and 2 and 2 and 1.
Good point.
Knocked off of third by Sydney Pennington and called out. Coleman furious. Patty Gasso furious. And Patty Gasso was run. Seemed like that might be inconsequential, with Oklahoma taking a 6-2 lead into the bottom of the 7th. But whether that proves to be consequential or not with what happens on the field, Oklahoma finds themselves in the thick of it without their head coach. And May's first pitch is going to be a 3-1 to Factor. And it's going to be ball 4. Oklahoma State, with nobody out, will bring the winning run to the plate. The Big 12 winning run to the plate in the form of Allison Febri.
Kevin, how big does that Grace Green RBI seem right now that they just put up in the top of the inning, pinch hit RBI to give them a 6?
It seems huge, and it also seems big that Oklahoma State threw her out trying to stretch it into a triple to end the inning. Febri can win it, and she takes strike 1. Well, Oklahoma State had lost 24 in a row to Oklahoma. Could they possibly pull this off? That is strike 2, a beautiful off speed, dropped in by May. .64 strikeouts, 51 2/3, and Kenny Gajewski is going to mess with May's timing a little bit here. He'll make a substitution mid-at-bat for a pinch runner. Pinch runner at first base, Scotland David, is going to run for Factor. Allison Febri, the team leader with 45 RBIs, brilliant with runners in scoring position. And that is a very good take by Febri on a pitch with some real late break. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
What a take by Febri. Look at where this pitch starts. In the zone, then breaks out, and she's able to hold back, understanding that it's going to fall out of the zone for a ball.
Febri into center field. Coleman is there to track it down. And Oklahoma picks up the elusive first out in the 7th. Now Alexander does score. It's 6-4. But Oklahoma doesn't care about that. They've got out number 1. And they are 2 outs away from evening the series.
Allison Febri wasn't, I don't think, 100% sure on that swing. Kind of a check swing, not full swing, but still look how powerful it was just to still be able to send it to the outfield deep.
Now Busby with a first pitch pop-up. Coleman in from center at out number 2. And Oklahoma is 1 out away. What a job by May to get Febri and Busby, the 3 and 4 hitters, and bring the Sooners to within 1 pitch of reclaiming first place in the Big 12 with 1 day to go. Sydney Pennington stands in her way. Pennington way out in front on strike 1.
Love the way that Nicole May is just working in that changeup to these hitters, completely selling it. So much confidence in that pitch and working from ahead.
Pennington 0 for 3. And takes strike 2. Has started all 194 games of her Oklahoma State career, Pennington. Can she come up with one of her biggest moments? 0-2. Strike 3, swinging. Oklahoma hangs on for dear life. May shuts the door in the 7th, and it's a 6-4 Sooner win to even the Bedlam series.